I take the cocoa, plant it low. I want to farm for you. Yeah. I take the cocoa, plant it low. I want to farm for you. Yeah. Carry your basket, follow me. I take the cocoa, plant it low. I want to farm for you. Yeah. I take the cocoa, plant it low. I want to farm for you. Yeah. Carry your basket, follow me. Everything where I do, I go carry you, make you see. Naija Farmer. Carry your basket, follow me. Everything where I do, I go carry you, make you see. Naija Farmer.
And we deliberately chose that women would be the leaders of biotechnology. The idea behind this is that if you have a woman who is a graduate, all our children will be educated. This is statistics that is worldwide. And therefore, we felt that if biotechnology is in the hands of women, biotechnology will procreate and continue. And that is why you will see majority of people who will interact with you, who will teach you things, are women. Now, let me say one thing. You will learn from these people if you respect the fact that they are going to teach you something. You know, don't look down on them. These people are the people that have the biggest knowledge when it comes to biotechnology practice in Nigeria. Why? Because they are the ones who do biotechnology more than anybody. The time they spend in the hood, if you take it as the time somebody takes in the aircraft, is equivalent to time spent doing the work. And these people are the ones that do more time multiplying plants, and you are going to see a lot of plants. Even though the theme of this morning is yam and tubers, you are going to see a lot of things that has been done. So I'm going to invite you to join us in the conference room, and then we'll do a general presentation to introduce ourselves properly. Then we will divide ourselves into groups to go and experience different things. Then we'll convene, and then you tell us what you have learned, and then we'll now go to another site, and then you now practice some of the things you have learned. So at the end of the day, you have a full picture of what biotechnology is about, and where the jobs are, and what you can use the knowledge you have gained today added to the things you have done before to make something great. Adora, well, she just got married. I wanted to call her Adora Nwokolo is the project manager here. Like I said, our women are 80%, so we also have women leaders. And the deputy manager is Mendy Benjamin. You know, if you write her name, it means men. Moses. Oh, Mendy Moses. Yeah. I'm still in the past because she also newly got married. Coming there is Eli Danjuma. Elizabeth Danjuma. Introduce your team.
And Miss Blessing Samuel. Yes.
And then
Miss Paulina Mbaga. All of them are culturists. We do everything, but from the lab to the screen house. Yes, so we'll be taking you around our facilities, so you get familiar with them. You're welcome.
So welcome. Please join us in the hall. Then we make a presentation. Welcome. You have been talking I'm highly delighted to welcome you here. And I can assure you that at the end of this training, you will leave with a competence that you can do everything that you see here. And I will tell you a few secrets about Biocrops also in the process of my presentation. And the secret is the only way you can succeed is when you believe that you can. Once you have it in your mind that you are going to be successful, it will happen. Because everything you do will now align to that belief. And that's what we are going to encourage you to do this morning. So the title of my presentation is Yam and Tuber Production using modern biotechnology methods. And my name is Shola. People call me Dr. Shola Odusonya. I also am Director of Biotechnology in a government agency in Shetco. That agency is responsible for biotechnology in the entire country. And that laboratory where you can see, you don't see any white men here. You know, it's indigenous and it started from scratch with just plastic chairs and tables and just the idea. Why we are here today, the director here is going to tell you. I came here one day and I said, I have some things in my head and I want to put them down. I'm like Babalawo. I understand some science and I want to hand over that science to the next generation. And this agency helped me do that. And this is how we started. And we ended up producing sugarcane for the sugar industry in Nigeria. This was a place where sugarcane was being produced and sent to the sugar industry. And from there, that humble beginning, we started. That's why I say, confidently, we are proudly Nigerian, because we basically chose to solve a problem, and that is the problem of availability of seeds. So we try to bridge the gap between science and commercialization. You know, here you are going to see more technology, not science. There is a difference between the science and the technology. We have decided to remove the science, put it under our feet, and focus on the technology, because it's the technology that drives progress. And the Chinese did it. So if China could do it, remove science, focus on technology, and get results, why not us? And this is how we became committed to food security challenges. We are going to teach you all of this within one day. And that is one of the emphasis of removing science and technology. You will learn tissue culture, hands-on, with your own hand. You will learn temporary immersion bioreactor system. You will learn how to use bioreactors, and you will actually plant yam on the aeroponics system. All these things, they sound Greek to you. A scientist will come and say aeroponics is this, that. I'm going to show you what aeroponics is. Your memory is going to be aeroponics, and then you use your hand to practice it. You will never forget. The Chinese doesn't know how this computer, the science behind the computer, but it's making it. That is what I want you to do. Use your knowledge, make the product, leave the science to the scientists, but join the group of people who are producers, and that is what we will end up doing today. At the end of the day, you will see an opportunity where you'll be able to understand what improved organic farming is all about. You will learn about biofertilizers and biopesticides, and you will actually use them today. So, in summary of things, for those who want to be academic, everything about yam and tubers is what we are going to do. We are going to do seed development. We are going to do integrated pest management from the seed stage. Cropping of yams and tubers. We are going to discuss a discussion session on post-harvest management and processing and marketing and industrial utilization. Do you know? I want this to be interactive, so I'm going to be asking questions. Which is the most economic crop in Nigeria? In terms of, if you say the biggest economy in terms of crops in Nigeria, does any one of you know? You said? Cassava. That's a good guess. Any other guess? Rice. Maize. Cocoa. Somebody said yam. Somebody said tomato. Now, let me summarize it for you. If you add cassava, you add tomato, you add rice. What else did you say? Maize. When you add all of them together, cassava is not up to yam in terms of the size of the economy of yam. Look at it, just imagine. You know, there is no state in Nigeria they don't eat yam. If you want to do any celebration, it's yam. They'll be looking for those big yam. Imagine the number of people involved in yam production. And imagine the value of yam. Sugar cane, which many of you did not mention. You have eaten sugar this morning, all of you. It's a guess, but I know that 90% of you have eaten sugar. In one form or the other. If you eat bread, you have eaten sugar. If you eat biscuits, you have eaten sugar. That sugar economy, 98% of the sugar we consume in Nigeria is imported. And that economy itself is only $600 million per annum. Yam is in billions of dollars per annum. When you calculate those small people who do small plots like this, put yam inside, when you calculate everything, you realize yam is the biggest economy in Nigeria. And you know why it is undervalued? Because it's grassroots. There is no big industry around yam. And part of what we are going to do is to encourage you to understand that you can actually create industry around yam. Let me cite an example. Most of the things you eat, all this ola yam that you see, poundo yam, do you know it's not yam? Almost all of them is not yam. It's only now people are trying to start to produce yam and put inside bag. Most of those things you see in the market were brought from USA. They don't grow yam in USA. So you can see that there is an industrial opportunity if you can produce yam. That is real yam and put it inside bag. The only yam that is real yam that they put inside bag is amala. Are adulterated products that are called poundo. And we also gave it name. Anyway, we will talk about this point. You know why this is important? When there is an industry, it will pull production. So everybody will produce and send to the industry. That is why this is important. And that is why I want to discuss. That is what I want to focus your attention at. The reason why we are ready to show you everything is I want to show you our belly in biotechnology is because I know that you people have the power and the capacity to turn this country around. We saw what you did in NSAS, but what we want you to do now is to turn that energy into production and prove to us who have messed things up that you can correct it. The white man that made pencil made eraser. You people are the eraser of the mistakes that we have made, but you can correct it. And you have started correcting it, I'm seeing the example, but you are doing it in tech. The 10 most important companies in Nigeria are technology companies. and they are making money in billions of naira in this same country where some people are finding it difficult to eat. If you use biotechnology creatively, you can do the same thing, and I'm going to demonstrate it to you today. So let's move on. I will tell you about some of the things we produce: biofertilizers and biopesticides. Why are they bio? These are things you can produce. They are from your soil. They are usually either bacteria, fungi, or microorganisms that you find in your environment. How we do it is that we look for soil that is very rich. So we ask questions: what is inside that soil that is making that soil rich? Those things are usually bacteria or fungi. We now remove them and package them. You will see the packages. The person who is doing it studied microbiology. She is a young person like you. She will tell you the details of it. And you live here with the knowledge. But let me share one with you. When you buy soybeans and you keep it in the house for 2 years, do you see any insect go there? Have you not asked yourself why? The answer is there is something inside soybeans that kills insects. So when insects see it, it will turn away. If you remove that thing and put it on top of beans, it will protect your conventional beans. And that thing is called chitinase enzyme. It's an enzyme that eats the cell wall of insects. And it's in soybeans, free of charge. So if you didn't gain anything today, learn how to go and remove chitinase enzyme from soya beans, and you have an insecticide. Once you spray it on insects, it will eat the cell wall of the insect and kill it. So these are examples of what we have converted into products. Our observation and knowledge, we turned it into products and services for people. So the pesticides are those. Then the fertilizers, like I said, we look for what is inside the soil that makes the soil rich. And you see, this is our people. This guy, Eddie, he came here. His mother was frustrated with him that this guy went to Cuba. He got distinction in Cuba, first class. He did the masters in Cuba. He also got distinction, but he couldn't find a job. The place where they promised him they were going to give him a job, they gave it to somebody else. And that is how he lost out. His mother called me and said, this boy is going to commit suicide. I said, why? Because of Nigeria's problem. Let him pass on. Call him, and then we started working together. This guy, with all his degree, when it comes to carrying plants to jump on truck, he will be the first one, because he believes in himself. Now he's doing a PhD in the US. He has drawn his brother to join him. His mother has gone there to meet him. He started the Biocrops. He got his life back by working hard and helping us develop products. All the things, the websites you see, they are the works he did when he was here. And that doesn't mean that all these people did anything less. They worked hard, and their hard work is what you are going to see, and you will see them exude energy, which I want you people to also exude at the time you finish here. I want you to have that energy, that point of contact where nobody can talk rubbish to you. You will tell the person that what is in my head is enough for me to live. And that is what I want you to leave this place with. We are going to talk about yam. We are going to see yam. Oh, I should have asked you, what do you think this is? This is actually yam inside bottles. And we are going to show you how we built this bioreactor. It's supposed to be a fantastic looking thing, but you see, we use waste materials. These Bama bottles is what we used and converted into a bioreactor, because we understand the science. This young woman came here earlier, about 4 years ago, to do IT. She's now the head of our microbiology unit. And we are engineering the future with them. This is the bioreactor that we are talking about. It's crude, but it works. Many of the things you see here is different from what you see in IITA or anywhere. This is me, I can do it. That is what you will see. You will not see rocket science, but you see science that works. And that's what I say, remove the technology, separate the science. Focus on the technology, make your products, and go on. The China man who is selling motorbike, he doesn't know engineering. He just knows that when you solder things together, it works. And Africans like to buy the motorbike, and they pay him money for it. So he's making it for African people. The same thing with the train. They know that the train, once you put electricity, it will move. How it works is not their interest. But they know African people will buy it. So we want these African people to also think and start making their own products that are going to work, even though it's crude. Many of you say China's product doesn't work. Shebi is what you are buying. Half of the phones we are using, I'm not accusing you people, half of the phones we are using are China phones. Yet we say their products are not working. Well, like, let us produce all our yam and let people abuse us. Well, at least we are producing. And that's what we should achieve. This is another of our icons. Actually, the first manager we got is now working with this agency. So he came and helped us set up, and this agency saw value in him. They are employed him. This is the aeroponics system he's planting there. And this is the aeroponics when it has grown more. I've been saying some things, aeroponics, you will see it, so I'm not bothered about definition. A yam vine, you know, when you want to plant yam, what did they tell you? Who knows how to plant yam? Explain to us. Sit down, feel relaxed.
In the beginning, you want to plant yam, first of all, you make the leaves.
Yes, after making the heap.
Then, if the yam is long, you cut it. You plant it.
You plant it.
Planting, the yam
As?
has places
Okay.
where to plant it.
Excellent.
You cannot put up the way you germinate up. Put it down so that you start from down, then you come out.
Very good. What he has described is what our grandfathers taught us, and that's what we have been doing. But you see, I'm going to try to change your orientation. He says you get a yam. If the yam is long like this, you cut it. But I'm going to change your orientation by the time you leave here that this is one yam. This is a second yam. This is a third yam. Every leaf of yam is a plant. And you, with your own hands, are going to practice that, and we are going to scale up the production of yam in Nigeria to your own hands. Groups like yours are unique because we don't find such groups of young, talented, educated, smart people to hand over knowledge to you. Just as he didn't go to school to learn that yam story he told you. He learned it by induction, watching his father watching his father's father, and all of that. I want you to tell your own children and your children's children's children that every node of yam, every place where yam branches like that is a new yam. And we'll practice it here today. We are now adding knowledge to the knowledge you have. We are not saying the knowledge you had before is useless. Prior knowledge is important. But how can we build upon that prior knowledge? How can we scale production so that we Africans can also say we can feed ourselves? And after feeding ourselves, we feed the world. The reason why we don't have restaurants of African food everywhere is that we have not even fed ourselves well, talk less of going to introduce our food to other people. So we are going to change our understanding by using your own hands. The knowledge you have today, you can practice it in your home. We have separated the science. You don't need to be in this lab to be able to do what I'm going to hand over to you today. To prove that, one woman came here in 2019 and we gave her the vines. And she put it directly in the soil. She didn't cut yam and turn the head upside down the way we are talking about, oriented. She just cut the vine and she took it to Morocco. You know Morocco is hot. So they now put drip set. There is a kind of a pipe that they condition in one way, it will be dropping water or nutrients, and the yam started growing. When you go around, I will now call you and show you these plants that we gave her, what she has turned it into. So, some of the knowledge we have, if we build upon it, we'll get to the future. Yesterday, we were in a meeting. The Honorable Minister of Finance, she has been here, and she was quite impressed when she saw young women working, and she interacted with them. I was saying, please, slow down. Don't talk too much science. She said, my brother, I'm a scientist. I understand science very well. My first degree is in science. So I said, okay, unleash yourself on her. And she was so happy to listen to them. And she's ready to work with us to scale. So you people are a niche that we see, that we can help to scale technology. She also saw a video which she shared with us yesterday, and I'm sure Madam will share it with us, of someone growing yams in sacks. And she asked, how can we scale it? Today, you people will learn how to scale things up like that. That you can, in your homestead, anywhere you see, you can grow yam and grow it effectively. Madam, please help us circulate that video so that they all see it. This is purposeful training. It's not training, you scribble some things and then they will now do exam. The exam you are going to do is for you to call me and say, come and see my setup. I need advice on how to make more money. That is, you will have been making money, but you want to make more money. Because if we are not many producing this thing, then it's only me and my group that will be facing all the challenges there. But when we are a group, we can form together and say, how do we export yam? Then everybody who's involved in yam will give 1,000 naira, 1,000 naira, and we know we have more than 1 million people involved in yam. That's 100 million naira every year if they contribute 1,000 to the development of yam. Is it government you are looking for? You are looking in the wrong direction. So by the end of today, you people will make up your minds if you want to invest in yam. And I'm telling you, it's the biggest economic crop in Nigeria. So you will see how, and you'll be taught how to plant it directly into the soil. So what my brother is saying, once you have a yam that has grown up to here, you will cut everything down. You have more than 300 yams. So when you don't even have money, you can start. And what Madam Minister of Finance was asking, how do you scale? You demonstrate to her, you, not me, that you learned something and you can scale that technology for her. We have engaged the leaders. Almost all the ministers of finance, ministers of agri have been here. We are expecting the current one to come here, but they have engaged with our people. This is Mendy. Where is she? Sitting down there. You know, the other, Francis is the other guy. Chief Audogbe was here. The other man was here. We also engaged industry. Like I told you, we planted sugarcane for industry. This man, who has that birthmark, is the estate manager of Sunti Golden Sugar. We demonstrated that these plants you are seeing in test tubes, that's them. That's us inside the field. So we have demonstrated that the plants we grow by tissue culture will go to industry. We also tried to teach young people. My brother, you can circulate that to their emails, to their WhatsApp, instead of showing, so that they can look at this. I'm a jealous teacher. I don't like people to divide my class. So we also tried to hand over technology to children. You know, having engaged leaders, we also tried that. And these slides show the things you are going to see today. We set up the standard for industry. For sugar industry, this is the standard of seedlings they require. And I have other presentations that show how they started using that. And the gap in that industry is huge. Dangote Industries alone makes 20 billion naira every year from just polishing sugar from brown to white at the port. But he wants to source sugar from you guys, but you are not producing, so he has to go overseas. Can you produce the sugar for him? And this is the standard. We work with industry to set up that standard for sugarcane. This is the first time Dangote flour mills and Boa Group will come together. They have never visited each other's farms. These are the leaders of their farms. Biocrops brought them together because we sell seedlings. If the industry doesn't grow, then we won't see someone to sell seedlings to. So it was in our best interest to bring all of them together so that they cross-fertilize ideas and share in their knowledge. At the end of this visit, the flour mills people learned from Dangote Group. Dangote Group also learned from them, and they learned from one another, and we also benefited from it because at the end of the day, we got invitation by Dangote Group to supply them with seedlings. So you see that life together is integrated. People work with one another. So I told you about the modern machine. This is the bioreactor. You are going to see example, but this is the modern one. It's expensive, it's built overseas, but here we built our own by ourselves. And it does the same work that this one does. So all the things I've said is the sweet part. There is a sour part inside. Although Nigeria is #1 producer of yam worldwide, we are one of the least in yield. Our yield is very low. You can actually get up to 30 to 35 metric tons per hectare, but we are getting around 12. If you use these technologies, our yield will go higher. And farmers buy seeds informally. Sorry, what's your name again? Huh? Barnabas. Yes. Barnabas, I want you in a few months' time to change this captive market of informal seeds to one in which we are going to be producing seeds for farmers. It's possible. And the technologies we are going to hand over to you today are sufficient for you to take off. The International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, as well as the Yam Improvement for Food Security in West Africa project, decided that they will support young people like you, entrepreneurs and all of that, and take technology out of IITA and put it in the hands of people. And they set up this project. This company is a beneficiary of it, and we are grateful for being beneficiaries of it. And this taught us yam, because we didn't think there was a business in yam. Yam business is informal. You have to gather the farmers together. How many of them are you going to gather together? But when you have dedicated groups like this, who are actually making fortune out of yam, and linked it to industrialization, remember the first slide I made, then you have made a difference. And that difference is what today is all about. So the business opportunities give you a new yam revenue stream. You know what that means? There is nobody in Nigeria who comes out and say, I'm a yam seed producer. I sell yam, I buy yam, I help them load yam, I help them offload yam, I fry yam, I pound yam. That's all we have. There is nobody who says, I am a seed producer. And I want you to be able to say at the end of the day that I am a seed producer. I also want you to be able to leverage on existing infrastructure. That's what we are doing. That's why we are here. We didn't build this thing. Government just looked at us that it seems these people are talking sense. Let's give them space to operate. We are not paying for water, anything. The government just decided to incubate us and push us through. And that is why we are also willing to give. Because we have been given, we need to give and keep giving until we actually own our space. And we will tell you about aeroponics, and we will help you understand the business around. Like I said, it wasn't easy. We started with a horrible screen house like this. It's horrible. We are talking horrible, but it was what we used to produce. You can see that almost everything there is torn, but we sold it back. When it tears, we sew it back. It tears, we sew it back. Then we now got to the point where we called an Israeli company. Because when you are inside those screen houses, it's hot. So we now called an Israeli company. They taught us the technology of how you can make the screen house cool. You can see this man that looks like somebody from Israel. He's actually from Israel. We started something we call barber shop. Remember what I said, each node is a yam. So you just, you know, when you go to, my hair is full, I'm going to cut it later today. But you keep cutting each node of yam. Like, this is yam, you see in a small bag. We plant it, there is a drip irrigation set. Our forefathers never used irrigation, talk less of drip. So you can see how we have emasculated technology. We are not doing this kind of screen house. We did this is how we started. We called the welder, he built a screen house. You see it is here. And then we now, even though we are taught aeroponics, we are now taught this thing is expensive now. Can we not do something better? We now created this. This was in 2014. We learned how to do what they call the barber shop. You cut one yam, you put it inside a bag, then the yam will start growing. When it grows to a point, you keep cutting, you keep cutting, you keep cutting until you spread from this, maybe 200 bags you have. You spread it, you have 2,000 for each bag. And it goes on, and so you become an entrepreneur within a short period of time. Then later, we improved to a better screen house. Now we have now changed barbershop method based on the work that that woman we gave things to. So you are going to see this also. When we planted it initially, they will show you by harvesting what is under. So it's yam. If you want, we can cook it for you to eat so that you know that it's yam. And Mrs. Mahmoud from ministry, you know, we've been talking this yam. She said, this thing you are talking, you are only talking it. Prove to me.
Just like babies. That's what I've learned. Because I went in there and I saw how neat everywhere was. And I saw a feeding process just like the baby. So I was so happy about it. And this has made me to like feel bad because sometimes I treat my yam seeds wrongly. But with this experience, I know that I have to do better. Because sometimes I throw them because maybe I'm tired or something. But because of this experience, I'm going to treat my plants better when I get back home. And I'm going to teach my people a new thing.
Let's have we have data bias here, so not my a man's experience. I don't want this man. Is he your spokesman? Yeah, you know, people believe that you know, so don't let them dominate. Do you agree that you know?
Yes.
Do you agree with that?
Thank you once again. I feel very, very happy to experience a new method of farming here because the way we farm is different. And somehow this new method is a method that if at least 40% farmers in Nigeria are into this kind of method, because you produce the berry to plant your yam, and you harvest it. After harvesting, you take it to market, we sell it, and again you go for another berry again. You don't go to plant the same tubers again. The tuber is for market. So I've seen how it's so lucrative using only the vein. Because the tuber is only placed, according to what I learned from the tuber is for marketing. It's not for planting. So that is what I get from there.
Okay.
All right. My name is Oyedele Ludai from Osun State. All right. For me, let me go to maybe something that I'm not interested much. The part where we went to the section where I think the analytical lab, where there is production of pesticides and all those biofertilizers that are being used in place of the inorganic fertilizers that we use these days. So I saw that naturally go to a natural habitat, pick certain organisms and take them to the lab and actually be able to culture some things out of them and produce maybe a pesticide or insecticide or nematicide that we can use naturally to fight them on our farm without any adverse effect or without anything that makes our crop unhealthy and stuff like that. And we're also told that naturally most of those insecticides, they could serve dual purpose. Some of them will work as pesticide and at the same time will work as fertilizer.
Yes.
And some of them will work, and we also brought through the process whereby the process of maybe culturing certain chemicals and then take them through the process of fermentation after 2 weeks, and then we're told that those things were not meant to stay for a very long time, or else to actually turn to something else.
My name is Innocent. I'm going to share my experience. I'm a farmer. You are guilty of everything. I went to 2 major labs. The first lab was the analytical lab. In that lab, I discovered that natural fertilizers is being produced in that particular lab, which is the analytical lab. And how do they do it? Based on the instructor and what you told us, you were told that you can actually go to a particular place, maybe you will see a particular land that maybe the vegetation is actually good and you like it and you want to, that particular kind of vegetation that you want to replicate it in a natural way. So you take the nutrients in that particular place